my default is kind of that I'm bad. And every day I'm trying to prove to myself that I'm good.
One of my friends
Uh,
grabbed him and said hi, and we all took a selfie, and he was really, really nice.
the only heaven I want to go to is one where we are literally jumping on clouds.
The company is not your family.
I cannot be friends with male actors who insist on being alive.
Everybody else is looking at the same thing as you, standing in their own career path and their own personal life and being like, where do I go from here?
The idea of wanting to live forever, I'm like, what the fuck? No,
Please
I don't
give me
need,
rest.
I always wonder if like my dead relatives are watching me masturbate.
Hey, welcome back. We're Not For Everyone, a podcast hosted by a lover, that's me, Jess, and a hater, that's Caroline. You laugh at me every time I do the intro. I don't know what we're supposed to say anymore, but we're here and we hate and we love. I immediately want to just like set the stage with how I'm feeling today. It's how I feel a
Please.
lot of days, and that is that I feel baby. I feel I am baby.
You are baby.
Do you ever say that? Have you seen the like memes and reels that go around that say that?
I am baby.
Yeah.
No, I don't know this.
I think I think it started with this thing that was going around on TikTok and Instagram and stuff that's a literal baby saying to their mom, like, I'm just a baby. Like
Oh,
the
I do
mom's
know
asking
that.
them to say something,
Yeah,
to do
yeah.
something. Yeah. So I have taken that into my own hands and I say it every chance I get. I said it at work the other day. I say it at the gym constantly. I
To
am just
who?
like,
To who at the gym?
to authority figure, to my coach, like to people that are telling me to lift heavy things or
I forgot
create
that you worked.
PowerPoint slides.
I forgot that you worked out with a coach, and I was picturing the way I work out, which is alone, alone. And I was like, "Are you just going up to random people at the gym and saying I'm just a baby?"
I wouldn't put it past me, but I just kind of say it because I work with a trainer, but it's like small group training. So
Yeah.
there's maybe 6 people in a session. And I do just kind of say it like at a random time out into the room, and whoever latches on, latches on.
Whatever babies
But
latch.
right. I feel baby today. I don't want to do anything serious. I don't want to do anything really other than be here being
Yeah.
baby with you.
Oh, I'd be baby with you too.
Yay. I
um,
asked people
yeah.
to send us stupid things,
Thank
and
God.
best gummy bears or fruit snack brand is the first one that I can see here. So they committed to the
Yeah, that one's
request.
definitely stupid. That one's definitely stupid. Best gummy bears are gummy bears not a brand?
No, there's like Haribo gummy
Oh,
bears.
Haribo,
Yeah,
Haribo.
yeah, 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 yeah. There's that. And there's Welch's fruit snacks.
Ew, I hated those. Those were the school fruit snacks.
I love
Those
them. I buy the like mega
no.
packs from Costco and eat one every day.
What? That's
I'm
crazy
addicted.
because
I'm baby.
Welch, you are baby. The Welch fruit snacks just taste. They are the exact flavor of my mom once again refused to come to school pickup on time, and I have to go to the after hours daycare of middle school and eat these Welch's fruit snacks out of the vending machine. That is my only association with them.
Why were you buying those from the vending machine? I was at the same after school, what do they call it? Extended day. And I
Yeah,
was buying a Dr. Pepper and hot fries like every time.
because I have a sweet tooth. I didn't want fries. Hot
Okay.
fries. You had fries out of a vending machine? The heck is that?
Hot fries are like it's kind of like flaming hot Cheetos, but it's a different brand. And they always had them in our
Oh,
school vending machine. And I
interesting.
really enjoy tearing up the inside of my mouth, I guess, with like
Okay.
soda and sour candy and hot chips. Since I was in 5th grade, that was my thing. So
I don't
that's what I
think
would buy.
I don't think I don't think I've ever bought a pair of chips. A pair of chips? Interesting. A pair of chips? Interesting. Out of a vending machine in my life. I would never choose that.
That is such a flex. What is it that you've been saying?
Oh,
Okay, like don't
candy.
brag. Don't
Stop
brag.
bragging. Stop
Stop
bragging. That
bragging.
is a brag.
That's a
Well,
brag.
I only ever have a sweet tooth.
Okay, got
I
it.
I actually hate eating anything else. I really resent eating anything else. Today I've eaten a chocolate beignet
Oh my
and two
God.
blueberry muffins and several spoonfuls in a row of lemon curd. This is
Where did you
all
get
I
all these things?
Justin, this crazy dirty little bitch called Justin made me blueberry muffins and homemade lemon curd.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay, Martha Stewart. What?
Okay. I know he has to be put down.
What about where did the beignets come from?
I bought it from Whole
You can buy
Foods.
that? Oh, all right.
Yeah, they were like little baby buns full of chocolate. Surprise.
Wow, what a decadent. So you are baby. You're being
I
baby. You're doing it right.
am
All of
being
this
baby.
tracks.
I am being baby. Yeah. Ever since I was a child, I invented as a small young child, I claimed I had an invisible nanny, an imaginary nanny, and not an imaginary friend. I had an imaginary nanny, and she was the authority in the household, and she would tell me things like I was allowed to eat M&Ms for breakfast. That was like her main purpose in getting me out of naps.
So you
And
would
every
tell your
once in a
mom, like, oh, the
yeah,
nanny told me I could have this.
I would just say my nanny told me I could eat this.
Oh,
And every once in a while, I think my mom was like, okay, first of all, you're an idiot. But every once in a while, she'd be like, okay.
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's too good. I had imaginary friends as well, but they were more based off of real people that I wasn't actually friends with. Like
Oh,
specifically, I
that's
had
weird.
there was this kid in my neighborhood who I had a crush on when I was like 5, probably my first crush ever, just hanging out in the backyard area and like playing with all the neighborhood kids. And I always felt left out. Even like I would go play with them, but I always felt like the odd kid out because I went to a different school and like just whatever, was an awkward little girl. And there was with this one guy named Sean who I had such a crush on, and I would like
It's a hot name when you're 5, Sean.
it
That's a
reminded
hot
me of
name.
Sean. Well, I guess I wasn't watching Boy Meets World yet, but I associated him with Sean Hunter from Boy Meets World later on. And
Okay.
yeah, I just would create these scenarios in my head. Like my imaginary friend was him, but he was a real person. But in my
That's
head,
creepy. Yeah, that's
he
weird.
was, I would
Yeah,
like
that's weird.
create scenarios. That's a lot, right? I think I did it for too long, actually,
That's
in my childhood.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't ever tell Sean that.
No, I don't know where he is. I actually did try to look him up like during COVID when I was really single and just like, let's see
Yeah.
where all of my crushes from ever in my
Right?
life are.
Wouldn't that have been so fun if you found Sean and he was so hot and then he was the love of your life and you were like,
That would
"Oh,
be cool.
I used to date the imaginary clone I made of you when
And
I was
drive him
5."
far, far away.
Weird, weird. I
I
think
would push him away.
the creepiest thing I think a kid could come up with as an imaginary friend. Like if I had a kid, if I had like a 5-year-old, and they were like, "Oh, I'm playing with my imaginary friend," and then I was like, "What's their name?" And they were just like, "Their name is Mommy," or like someone who, like you said, already exists, and you're like, "No, I'm Mommy," and they'd be like, "No, they're Mommy."
Wow. I mean,
That's
mastermind kind of
all.
kid.
That's all I'm thinking right now. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I don't
Mm.
really know what to say about that. I'm just like creeped
Okay.
out. I'm just,
Did you ever see the movie The Bad Seed?
no, I don't think so.
Ugh. It's
I
a
don't even know what it
play.
is.
It's a play and it's a movie that came out in like the 50s or 60s. It's so effing creepy. It's literally in black and white. And it's this there's like this daughter in this family. She must be like 10, 8 maybe. And it eventually becomes clear that she is like murdering other kids
Oh my God.
over like them trying to steal her shoes or like someone she didn't like or just like she's very much a little kid still, but she is like murdering people. And then the mother starts to figure it out and the dad is like away working or something. And like the mom eventually, I think, realizes she basically needs to like kill this kid or the kid is going to kill her or something, something, something.
Oh my God.
And then in the end, I think the dad comes home and rescues the daughter and the mom dies and then the whole movie just ends on this shot of like the dad and the daughter hugging and the daughter just like grinning.
Eh, creepy.
It was such like an effectively terrifying movie from the 50s. Yeah.
Wow. It makes me think of the whole Gypsy Rose uh thing of late.
What
Do
is
you know
that?
who
Who
that
is
is?
that? I don't even know. I don't know
Oh
anything.
my gosh.
Jessica,
Okay.
I don't know anything about the internet or pop culture.
I was really late to this myself. I only found out who she was like a month ago maybe, and she had already been a hot topic. So I
Oh.
don't know. I'm sure a lot of our listeners know, but in case you don't, there is this woman named Gypsy Rose Blanchard, and I think she's in like her mid to late 20s now.
That does
And when
sound
she was
familiar.
I mean, she's like all over the media and
Okay.
stuff, so you've probably seen it pop up. But basically, when she was a kid, she had a single mom and she was the only child. And the mom had what's called Munchausen's disorder, which I
Oh
don't know
yeah,
too much about. But
I do know.
essentially, one of the symptoms or one of the ways it can manifest is that like a parent, and I think specifically a mother, is trying to harm their child or will make up scenarios where their child is in harm's way and like take them to the
It's a
doctor a lot.
control, it's a massive control tactic. Okay, I did actually
Yes.
watch, there's a documentary about this girl. I did
Yes.
watch that documentary. Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
okay.
So she grew up, Gypsy Rose grew up with this mom who would like take her to the doctor, take her to the emergency room, like do this, do that with her, keep her home from school, tell her that she was sick or that she had injured herself or whatever. And doctors kind of like went along with it a lot of the times too and were like, oh yeah, like prescribe her this if she has this cold or whatever. And obviously this had like a major, traumatic impact on the girl as she's growing up. And I think when she got older, she kind of realized like what was happening and tried to escape and wasn't able to. And then it finally concluded in her when she was in her teens, connecting with some guy on the internet in a chat room or something. It became her boyfriend. And she said
Oh,
at some point to him, like, would you kill my mom for me?
oh,
And I
right.
don't know, I think it's unclear kind of like how directive she was in that, but this guy said yes, plotted to murder her mom. The mom died, and then both Gypsy and this guy were eventually found and put in jail. Um, 10
Oh
years
my
later or something
God.
like that, to present day, she was recently released from prison and she's become this like influencer iconic like character that people follow and are fascinated by. And it's this like moral question, I guess, of,
Yeah.
is that really her fault? How much is it her fault? Has she changed in these 10 years in prison? All of that.
Wow.
She's been really, really celebrated like in the current day because of what she went through and how she
It's
um
massive abuse. Massive,
massive
massive
abuse.
traumatic
And then
abuse.
sounds like she really took time in prison to, take classes and go to therapy and like take advantage of like rehabilitation resources and stuff where
Yeah.
she now can speak about it really eloquently. She's trying to bring awareness to this disorder.
Oh
And
my gosh.
yeah, it's really, really interesting. And I don't even know exactly how I feel about it, but it kind of like pops into my mind all the time.
Totally. I think if anyone were to claim having a super clear opinion on it, that contradicts the whole reason we're all talking about it, is because like
Yeah.
there are a million legitimate angles to this. Um, you think about like some of the other situations, some of the other more common situations of abuse, of child abuse that we have access to, and all the scenarios there where we would totally support violence in order for that kid to escape and self-defense and that. And it's like, I guess I mean, I don't know the legal argument behind all of this, but it's like it all bleeds together in different ways, but also just because you were abused doesn't mean you get to murder people. And it's so complicated. That's, I would assume that's why we're all talking about it. Like there's
Hmm.
no, doesn't seem easy to have it's just so
A
sad.
clear opinion. It
It's
is so
so
sad.
sad for
It's
everyone.
There's a lot of interesting stuff to her personally too. Like, well, first of all, I watched her on 𝐃𝐈𝐒𝐂𝐋𝐀𝐈𝐌𝐿's podcast. I think that's when I became aware of her.
Yeah.
He interviewed her, and it was a pretty interesting interview that I would recommend if people are interested in it. And she made a point to emphasize whenever this came up that like she didn't commit the murder, she was an accomplice in the murder, and that is kind
Yeah.
of legally how
Right.
the case stacks up against her and against the guy that actually did it. And obviously like yeah, she was not in a right state of mind. She had been abused and manipulated by her mother for so long. And so that's like one nuance to it that you could have different takes on, and but that she like really makes clear when she's interviewed. And then the other thing that's interesting kind
Mm,
of in a different side of things is, and I think something that a lot of people have latched onto from like a pop culture standpoint, is that while she was in prison, some man, third party, totally unrelated to any of this stuff, heard about her story, started writing her letters, and they kind of became pen pals. And then eventually he visited her in prison. They fell in love over the course of this time and got married. And while she was in prison, she married a man who was out of prison. Like he came to the facility and they had a little like marriage and had a someone officiate it. And so now she's married to this guy who's like a really sweet, from all we can tell, normal person
Mm,
who really cares for her and like sees the good in her. And they kind of do a lot of appearances together now. And it's just like really, just her story is interesting. So I can see why people are
really is.
following her. But then the flip side of that is like, are we celebrating somebody who, maybe she deserves to like go have a normal, peaceful life moving forward, but should she be like lauded to this extent? I don't know. She's getting brand deals, all
Yeah.
of that. Yeah.
Yeah, that it is so interesting. And this it bleeds into a conversation I've had with a couple different people this week. So maybe this is the theme of the week. It's on my mind. But this idea that we're all pretty drawn to of categorizing people as like, that's good people, that's bad people. That's good people,
Mm,
that's bad people. And it's like there's this insane binary. I even think of myself that way. I have this my default is kind of that I'm bad. And every day I'm trying to prove to myself that I'm good as if it's just a switch, as if it's just like a yes or no.
yeah.
Um, and I can get kind of lifting her up as a symbol because once you become a topic of public discussion, you're more, it's like what you've done or your story becomes more a symbol, an idea of something that people are processing. So I can
Yeah.
understand like wanting to raise up a symbol of something, whatever that thing is for you, a survivor of childhood abuse, someone who exemplifies reinvention, or I don't know, a million things.
Hmm.
But but then also like, oh, but or is she bad? And I guess that's the problem with I don't even know what my point is. It's just like most people are more complicated than that. I'm sometimes a little bit good and a little bit bad, and I feel
Yeah.
like most people are probably a mix.
Yeah. I mean, agreed. I think it goes to the conversation we've had before about cancel culture a little bit of like, celebrating certain people for certain things that they've achieved or that they've added to the world or whatever it is. But then knowing, things come out about them that aren't as pretty and aren't as celebrated. And ho- how much do we hold different people to those things? Does it depend on what those things are? We so badly want to group people into like, you're good and we can like you, and you're not good and we can't like
Totally.
you. And that's like
Totally.
very rarely how it works.
Yeah.
And that is both in our personal lives and like the relationships that we have with people, but then also, in the public eye and in pop culture and like celebrities and all of that. So, yeah, it is a great example of that. I think this is one of the few times that I've seen people actually be able to hold both
Complexity.
truths, yeah, about a person.
Wow.
And
That's
I think maybe
interesting.
that's because what she's or like her history is so
Monstrous.
complicated and so monstrous and so dark. And then like how she is showing up now is so the opposite of that, that like there's no way to make sense of it other than accepting that both can be true. It seems like most
Yeah.
people accept that both can be true with her.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, a lot of other people we don't give the same grace to. So it is an interesting question.
It is really wild. Yeah. I feel like part of maybe I'm trying to think why does it feel more clear to people? I feel like the character of her mother, and I say character because we don't know her as a person,
Hmm.
the character of her mother who acted in such like a difficult to understand way, like it's true mental illness, um, that I can't relate to or like understand what it feels like to have that kind. It's so unrelatable. It looks so black and white. It looks so easily like, well, the mom was the villain so clearly. We don't have the empathetic side of her story. And so it's almost easier to look at, excuse me, her daughter and be like, well, that's the kind of mixed situation. So that's what it's almost like I feel like there's relativity involved there that helps people feel maybe more open because okay, this other one, well, like what the girl did was really bad and violence shouldn't be the answer to even maybe, whatever. But the mom really is the villain. And it's like, well, we also don't know the rest of the mom's story.
Yeah,
Um,
we can't know it.
most abusers also come from an abuse, which also does not justify continuing abuse because plenty of people who've been abused do not continue it. None of it justifies anything. It's just like it's life
Yeah.
is crazy. Life is crazy.
So crazy. So crazy.
Wow, we
Um,
nailed it.
okay, I just got another stupid topic
Thank
submitted,
God.
and it's kind of a pivot from this because it's about celebrities and pop culture. It is celebrities you could see yourself being friends with. I feel like that's a really
Oh,
good question that I don't think about enough, but I
interesting.
could probably say Beyonce right away.
Hmm.
It's the only one I'm really sure of.
I want to think about that. Well, name a celebrity. I can't think of any.
Um, Jeremy Allen White.
Who is that?
Oh my, are you serious,
I don't
dog?
know stuff, dog. Jeremy.
Someone else
Gotta.
wrote in about him. He is like the sex symbol of 2024. He's the guy who's in The
Oh, because he's
Bear.
the guy in the bear.
Yeah.
Absolutely fucking not. He's a male actor. No, I've met him a
I knew
million
you would
times.
say that.
100% no. And especially the role he's in, 1,000,000% no. Hold
He
on.
has to
Oh,
be so full of himself.
and he's 5'7". Let me tell you what. No, no, no. Because all male actors are short and all male actors are butthurt about it. It's not that I
Napoleon
can't be.
complex.
It's not that I can't be friends with men who are 5'7". I cannot be friends with male actors who insist on being alive and then also insist on being 5'7". I
Insist
know
on being alive.
you're intolerable. Absolutely never. No, no.
I
Next,
knew
give me
this would
another
get a
one.
rise out of you.
Give me
Okay, give
another
you
one. Give
another
me
one.
another one.
Okay, I'm gonna go for not a male actor because we know the take
Okay.
there. Um
There's some male actor exceptions, but they're almost always the same person.
Okay, I have one. How about Billie Eilish?
I'm gonna say probably no. I'm gonna say no.
Say why. Give us more.
I don't actually know if it's nice for me to say why. I don't think it's
Oh,
nice. Not that what I
true.
just said was nice, but
You can
you know
stand
what's
behind that one. Yeah.
I know. Well, I don't know any of these people, so it's not actually nice for me to say, but am I going based on vibes? No, I don't think that we would get along.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay. What's another one? I want to think of one that you might have better luck with. How do you feel about like Emma Stone? Did you see that new movie that she was in?
I actually didn't. The one she won the poor
Yeah, I
things.
did see it, and I know that it's pretty
Okay,
divisive. But
you
anyway,
gotta name someone who's not an actor.
okay, so the take on actors is the same even for women,
No, no,
but
no. It
you
depends.
okay, but you're projecting something onto them.
I am projecting something onto them.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I
Okay.
can't see past without actually knowing their personality. All I know is that they're an actor. I don't love
Okay,
it.
how about Lady Gaga? Sacred
Oh
Heart
God,
sister. She's our Sacred
God,
Heart sister.
Jess. I think that we could be mid-level friends.
All right. Like you could
Yeah,
be if you saw her at a party and we're acquaintances, you would say hi and you would have like a funny chat and then move on.
yeah. Okay, here's the problem: is that I mostly am friends with pretty like quiet people.
Yeah. I was thinking about
So
that the other day.
I think performers. I had a really hard time in theater school. I don't usually get along well with performers.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm not
All my
how
friends are
would you
pretty.
qualify me?
You are not quiet.
Right.
But we are friends and there are
Thank you.
exceptions in my life. Yeah.
Great. I accept.
Yeah. Yeah, but you're also not an actor.
That's true. But you could say I'm a performer and I'm definitely not a quiet person. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's the fact that you've lived in the real world and like had a corporate job and also can like straddle the line between like artsy talk and like
Being a normal
kill
person. Yeah.
yeah, like I was gonna say fuck bitches get money, I think.
That's
There's a
more
fuck
where
bit
I align.
there's a fuck bitches get money about you that I really value.
That is the hugest compliment. I don't
Yeah.
think anyone's like I don't think anyone would be able to deny that that's true about me, but I also don't think
Yeah.
anyone has like said those words specifically about me. So thank you.
Yeah. Your fuck bitches get money. And a lot of artists are so like they cannot stop masturbating to their own art.
Yeah.
And it's just like, well, now everyone's hands are sticky and this is exhausting. So that's kind of my feeling. Yeah, I need people who like don't take it all so seriously, including their art.
Okay, but then let me throw one more celebrity at you that makes me think of.
Yeah, let's
And this
complete the
could be a
pattern.
hot take.
It's probably going to be a no, but give it to me.
I know. Jennifer Lawrence.
Oh, again, I don't know her, but she seems yeah, maybe. Seems like a maybe.
Okay,
I
let
think
me
so. I
say,
think so. I think so.
cool. That surprises me a little, and I'll tell you why. Because on one hand, she seems kind of like she has kind of broader perspective on life and the world. Like she seems like a more grounded person. But then I also kind of feel like that's an act, maybe, and like
Yeah.
she wants to be the relatable chick. And this is not it's not that
I
much of
know
a hot take because
this is
people
the
say this
criticism
about
she
her
gets.
too.
Yeah, this is the
Yeah.
criticism.
And I don't know where I fall on that criticism like spectrum. Like I'm kind of like, okay, there's no way for anybody to be perfect
Totally.
in this like judgment. Like
Especially if you're
either
a
they're not
woman.
relatable at all, yes, or they're too relatable and they're trying too hard.
Yeah,
So
totally.
I at the end of the day I don't really care, but
Yeah.
it does make me wonder like would I actually be friends with her? Is that exactly what she wants me to think? You know?
Yeah. Totally. Yeah. I think I would say I don't know. However, most of the people I'm friends with are mice. Like they're mice people. You know what I mean?
What? Kind of. Like
Yeah, I
like
don't know
that.
why I've like maybe because I'm so loud. I'm just always drawn to more like soft-spoken people.
I was thinking about that the other day and I don't know why, but maybe you posted something with your friends or whatever. And I'm always like watching you from afar with your friends and being very happy for you that you've like, grown a friend group in DC and all of that. So it comes from
Oh,
that like kind of like like mother who lives in Chicago far away, like
yeah.
watching her daughter grow and her
Yeah.
friendships or something.
You're my
Um,
imaginary mommy.
yeah, I'm your mommy. And uh so I think that was like the trigger for this thought. And then and I have met some of your friends, and I kind of realized between that and also people who I know you were friends with when we were growing up, who I was also friends with, um,
They were
but that
mice people.
you tend to be drawn to and friends with quieter people. And I was thinking about my friends and how that is
Mm-hmm.
the opposite of the case. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't say all of my friends are loud and performative. I'm probably on the more extreme side of the spectrum, and I still don't think I'm like crazy or annoying in that way. But I wouldn't call my friends quiet either. I would say that they're like, I wouldn't call them mice. I don't know what I would call them. Lions, lionesses.
Yeah.
Um, so anyway, that was just kind of an interesting observation. I don't know if this
Oh
is
yeah.
actually fodder for conversation, but
I
I
think it's
think it's funny.
conversation. I think
Yeah.
yeah. I think I just like I don't know. I can talk a lot in a on a podcast or in a YouTube video, but for the most part, I'm like sitting back in the corner. So
Mm.
that's the energy. Or give us another stupid one. Wait, no, let's give you some
Give me some
celebrities. I'm
celebrities. Yeah.
okay. I'm gonna literally Google the word celebrity. Okay,
Okay.
lists of celebrities. Okay, this isn't really giving me anything. That's a name. Okay, Ryan Reynolds.
No.
Let me tell you what
Um,
right now. Let me tell you what right now.
okay.
I can think of a female actor who I'm obsessed with right now, who I
Okay.
really want to think would be friends. This is
Go
really
for it.
lame of me. She wouldn't be friends with me, but Zendaya.
Oh, she would be friends with you.
Probably not.
I think
But
she would have a lot of admiration for you, I bet.
wow, okay. I love Zendaya.
I know
I
not
love,
I know nothing about her personally, but I know people love her. And I feel like you could be
I,
friends.
she's the kind of person who, like the young generation, she's like their king, right? And I think when everybody loves something, I mean, when all the people love the same thing, most people are stupid. So I'm like, well, it's probably stupid. And then the more I learned about Zendaya, I was like, no, they're correct.
Yeah,
She's amazing. She's
I would
amazing.
agree. From what I know about her, she seems super talented. She seems not like she's not just like blowing smoke up her ass all the time. Like,
She seemed chill as hell.
yeah. That's a good one. Okay.
Okay, so why aren't you friends with Ryan Reynolds? You're so mean, you mean bitch.
I think Ryan Reynolds I'm so am I gonna do this? Am I gonna say this?
Okay, do it.
He's just a very quintessential white man. And that doesn't mean we can't be friends, but he hasn't done anything to prove to me that he like thinks outside the box of what the box of a quintessential white man is. Like, he just
Okay.
seems like the poster boy for that.
Okay.
Whatever that means. I'm not going to say more about what that means. People can make their own uh inferences from that. But I just feel, I don't
Okay.
know. I feel like he wait. However,
Okay.
who's he married to?
Blake Lively.
Yep, correct. Okay. So I stand by it. I was trying to
Okay.
remember. I was trying to remember who is married, and is it Orion who is married to um what's her name?
I know who you're talking about. I can't think. Ryan Gosling. Are you talking
Eva
about Ryan
Mendes.
Gosling?
Yes, Ryan
Yes.
Gosling
That's the
could
other
be
Ryan.
friends. I could
I
be
think
friends with him more than Ryan Reynolds.
I think everybody wants to be friends with Ryan Gosling. He seems great.
But he's very, it's like, yeah, you think that he's going to be the quintessential white man, like kind of full of himself and just like gets things really easy and stuff. And maybe that is true of him. But
We
I
don't know
also
him.
feel like
Yeah.
we don't know him. I also feel like he makes an effort to like check his privilege and at least say the right things for me to be like, okay, you have a little more perspective to you.
Here's the
So
thing. I think
yeah,
some people, I also get that impression from Ryan Gosling without fucking knowing him.
right.
So I don't know if it's true, but it's also that like some people are just better at knowing what reads like self-awareness.
Yeah,
Some people are self-aware enough to know what reads like being the outside of the box guy, and some people don't even know how to fake it. And then some people are genuine
I know.
and
It could be,
la la
it's
la.
also performative. It's like
We
very
don't know
hard to know. This is
anybody.
a hard question. Ask me about a woman.
Yes. Okay, Miley Cyrus.
I have so many complex feelings about Miley. I think like kind of what you said about Lady Gaga. Like if we were in the same circles, I would definitely try to be her friend. I would kind of like kiss up to her and want her to think I'm cool, but we wouldn't
Yeah.
be like best friends. I would just
Okay.
want there to be a rapport where we're like
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That
One of
makes
the
sense
best
to me.
concerts I ever went to was Miley Cyrus when I was like 22. It was really, really fun. So there's something there that gets me
Yeah.
going.
Have
Yeah.
you had any great celebrity interactions or like notable or funny ones?
Well, my most notable is Nikki
I know you
Glazer.
DM'd Drake a lot. Oh, yeah,
I do to no end though.
yeah. DM'd
Actually
Drake.
today I okay.
What did you do to Drake today?
No, not to Drake. I always reference this person and I'd like to acknowledge that I have been two-faced about this.
Okay.
So I sometimes reference the influencer Tinks, and I feel like she comes up a lot. Like I bring her up a lot. I reference things that I see on her Instagram or whatever. And then I say, I don't really like her that much, or like I kind of couch it in um some sort of judgment that I have about her. And I think it's just because whenever you say that you like someone or align to someone, it immediately like puts you in a box and people think like, oh, you align with everything they say, which isn't true.
Right.
Um, so I just always like couch it whenever I mention
Yeah,
somebody
yeah,
like
yeah.
that because I don't want that to be the impression. But that being said, I think I need to own that I do consume her content with interest and with engagement. And today she posted something about Love is Blind, and I'm very engaged on that topic. And I responded to the story because it was something, whatever, I had something to add that like she hadn't acknowledged about this person on Love is Blind. And she responded to my DM and we had a little bit of a back and forth.
Oh,
And that was kind of cool.
oh, that's
She's
totally
huge.
cool. That was today.
Yeah.
That's totally cool.
That was today. So I
No,
like when those
and
things
that was
happen. Well,
today.
oh, yeah, you're seeing me the day that I DM'd with Tinks.
Wow. I was looking
Hmm.
just like this, but better.
Yeah, so I
That's
guess my
awesome. That
point,
is thrilling.
it is thrilling. And I feel like, yeah, that happens sometimes with influencers and comedians and stuff. And that's always fun. It has
That's
never
super
happened with
fun.
Drake. Nikki Glazer, I've told this story on Peaking before, but long story short, she's my favorite comedian and I talk about her all the time and she hosts my favorite podcast. And I went to one of her shows in LA, was able to run into her in the parking lot and like say that I was a fan. And then I wrote a DM to her later that night, like acknowledging how much she means to me, whatever. And the next day on her podcast, she shouted me out by name, and she had her producer like look into my Instagram profile and found Peaking, my old podcast, and shouted it out
Wow.
on her podcast. And
Wow.
I gained like
Wow.
100 followers on Peaking, and that was huge. And
Wow.
she's my
That
favorite
is
person.
huge.
Yeah.
That's like she went the extra mile.
Yeah. We
That
love
is
each
really
other.
sweet. That is really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Have you had good celeb
yeah.
run-ins?
Um, one time Natalie Portman kind of yelled at me. It was so weird. It wasn't personal, I don't think, but I was working at an Israeli restaurant in maybe the East Village in New York. And I think she's Israeli, right? Is that her
Oh, yeah.
heritage?
I think that might be true. Yeah. That
And
would
I
track.
think, anyway, she came in there or whatever. I got sat a table and I went up to the table to take their order. And then all of a sudden, the face, like I was standing at the end of a long table, and then the face, like directly at the head of the table right next to me, like started like barking orders for the table. And I like looked down and like looked into their face. And after like a moment, it's very surreal. You're looking at like one of the most famous faces you've ever
Yeah.
seen, but like in your restaurant where you work, screaming about hummus. And it was like really hard to even register what she was saying. And to her credit, I don't think she was being mean. I think that when she talks to people, they get so frozen and starstruck like that that she had to be like, one order of hummus, two sides
Yeah.
of,
Focus.
whatever.
Look at me.
But
Yeah.
but then I also want to be like, maybe you just shouldn't be the one to order, because I didn't even notice her at the table. Someone else could have ordered. I don't know what was happening. Maybe she did just want to bark. But I don't think it was like a rude, mean thing. I think it was literally she had to be so intense.
Yeah.
Um, like ordering her for her family. I don't remember the rest of the interaction, but that was a weird one. It was kind of
Yeah.
funny. And then I haven't had a lot of celebrity interactions, but the one that I kind of fangirled over was in Trader Joe's, where I think a lot of people see people for some reason,
Sure.
because it's the great
We love the
equalizer.
Joe. Yeah.
The Joe, we love the Joe. I was in line behind Tony Hale, who's one of my favorite actor comedians,
I
who
have a picture with
plays
Tony Hale.
Shut a butt up, shut a butt up. What?
We both have met Tony Hale.
Whoa.
Go
We
on. Let's
both
get him on the
hooked.
pod.
Okay, we
We
both hooked up
both
with Tony Hale. We both
Eskimo
hooked up with
sisters.
Tony Hale. He plays Buster in Arrested Development. He plays what is the character on Veep? He's the best
Yeah.
character on
I
Veep.
always remember. I always forget the name. Hold on.
Whatever. Everybody
Tony.
look up Tony Hale, because you do know his name, but you do know his face, but you might not know his name. And
Gary
I ran
Walsh.
into him,
Gary.
yes, on Veep. And I ran into him in Trader Joe's, and I did say something because I loved him so much. I was just like, oh, hey, like, I think you're great, whatever. And he was wearing like a baseball cap, just dressed like a normal dude, acts like a normal dude. And then he ended up in line behind me at the cash register. And he started initiating a conversation with me, just like chit chat, talking about like the chocolate that's in the checkout aisle or whatever. And it was such a pure, nice
That's so
moment of
cool.
like, oh, we're both a person. I loved it. I loved it. Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, I saw him at Founding Farmers, which is a restaurant in DC.
Yes.
He was there with a bunch of the Veep cast and crew. Julia Louis-Dreyfus was not there, but
Oh,
other
because they film
folks
here.
from the team were there. Yeah, back when they were filming
Oh.
there in DC and I was living there, it was probably like 8 years ago at this point. And I was with friends and looked over and everyone's like, is that Tony Hale? And then he walked by us when he was coming back from the bathroom. And one of my friends grabbed him and said hi, and we all took a selfie, and he was really, really nice.
I just want to look at his face right now.
A man of the people. We love him. My other one that I just thought of is Ilana Glazer from Broad City.
Oh, yeah.
My ex worked at a restaurant in DC at the time when Trump was just elected and the Women's March was happening in DC. And I went to the Women's March. Everybody and their mom was going, and it was really cool to be there. So I was at the Women's March. My boyfriend at the time was working at the restaurant, and he sent me a text and was like, get here now. Ilana Glazer just sat down.
Oh.
And I ran from like the Washington Monument through like crowds of people who were at the march a mile. I'm not a runner. I was out of shape even more than recently at the time. And I'm just like panting, running to this restaurant. It was Zaytinya, and ran in. He like locked eyes with him. He came and found me and like walked me over to her table and introduced me. And I had a whole conversation with her. Um,
Oh,
her like now husband was there, got a picture with them. And she was really, I mean, she just seems like she's going to be a really cool person. And
yeah.
she was asking me like what I do and thanking me for my work in public health. I was like, bitch, I'm trying to leave this job as soon as possible. Thank you for your work. Like, I'm trying to be you. Don't talk to me. I'm not worthy. So she was really, really cool. That was
Oh,
such a good moment. You know, we got a DM from somebody at some point saying that our dynamic kind of reminds them of Ilana and Abby on Broad City, and I am Abby
uh,
and you're Ilana, and
uh,
I'll take it. You
ooh.
love?
Yeah, I love.
Right.
I adore.
They're
I
people, hey,
adore.
those are celebrities I would be friends with, actually.
Yeah,
Found them.
totally, totally, totally.
Yeah.
We don't know any of these people, but they all seem great.
All right. We got a DM from a listener recently that just like struck a chord with me because I've totally felt this way before. Um, so I'm going to read at least part of it and see what you think. So they wrote in and said, I've worked in this company for over 4 years. My job is related to a lot of stress and a big workload. However, at the moment, my employer is not capable of doing anything additional to reduce this stress due to financial and other overall understandable reasons. I'm thinking about quitting, but I have two issues. One, I am very emotionally attached to my team and my coworkers. And two, I can't get over feeling that I owe my employer something. It sounds crazy, but over these 4 years, they have gone above and beyond to support me in hard times. They're very understanding, and overall, I feel like if I quit, it will be some kind of betrayal. Like I will look ungrateful for everything they've done for me. I guess my question is, how do you go about quitting a job that you are very attached to, but is very emotionally draining at the same time? So, been there,
Been there
understand,
too. Been there
right?
too. Yeah. Yeah.
Very relatable. And it's like, it's tough because you feel like you have a good thing, like you have the thing that people want, like a job that looks where you like the people and where they've like gone above and beyond to support you, and like you almost feel like you shouldn't be wanting to quit, you shouldn't be complaining because you have it good compared to a lot of others, but you also don't have it good because you're giving it so much and you're clearly exhausted and there's clearly no end in sight, and like it sounds like you know what you want to do, you just feel like
Yeah.
you can't for external
Yeah.
reasons. Um, how do you like I know I've felt that way and I know I've gotten over it and just quit the job, but I'm trying to
Hmm.
think about what were the steps that like helped me get there.
I mean, it's one thing. I think it's a little hard to quit a job on like, oh, I've only been here like 6 months and they were so good. It's like, okay, that's a little tricky. 4 years, you have
Hmm.
paid your dues. And I do know it does feel more complicated when you really like the people, you respect the people, it's not spiteful. And I also get the thing of like they've been really flexible to you. I think that really got to me in my last tech job. They were so supportive and flexible. But then the other thing is usually those people also know that you are a person who has to live your life. Those
Yeah.
are the people who know that the most. And I think all of the emotional heaviness I was so scared about in telling them I was quitting was it was very much projected. Not that they don't care about you, but like it is a business. And she didn't use the word family, like we're a family or anything, but I'm always very hesitant around that word with work. Because it's one thing you can be emotionally attached, you can really care about people, you can stay in touch, but if the money stops coming in, that family is bailing on you. That
Hmm.
it's not a family. And if they stopped paying you, you would stop showing up. It's not a family, it is a job. And if they really are these kind of people who are like very human and they see you as a person, they're actually going to be the people most likely to understand what you need to do. And also, like 4 years, that's a long time. That's like longer than most people stay in any job at this point.
Yeah.
And like, if they actually end up being the people who really, really don't get at all why you need to do this, then they're really not the people that you thought you're describing here, because that's really
Mhm.
crazy. 4 years, like, and they understand the situation. It sounds like you've talked to them about the workload. I think the fact that, like, yeah, I think maybe one of the first steps is you go and make known your complaints. So even if they can't
Totally.
do something, there's a foundation, like the precedent of I asked for help. I asked for what changes are possible, blah, blah, blah. You're not a slave. You don't owe them. You've paid them in your labor, and they have paid you with dollars. And that is the exchange. There's not an additional debt there. You can do it in a respectful way, but I don't
Yeah,
know.
I totally agree. I think the other thing that that made me think of is like all of these people can equally leave at any time.
And often they
Every
do.
person, and often they do.
And
Like,
then you're like, oh, I guess I should have left
oh,
back when I
so and
wanted
so,
to. That's what's
yes,
going to happen. That's what's going to
exactly.
happen.
It sounds like there's something like at an organizational level that is making it just harder to work at this place. And there may be perfectly good reasons for that. The economy is what it is. The circumstances with your leadership team are what they are, whatever's contributing to that. I think it's great that you can be kind of like a practical observer of that and be like, it's really understandable why things are the way they are right now at this company. Cool, good. Um, the next step is realizing that because that's the truth and because it's like a known thing and you've talked about it and they can't do anything about it and everyone kind of accepts it, everybody else is looking at the same thing as you, standing in their own career path and their own personal life and being like, where do I go from here? Some of them will stay, sure, but some of them will probably leave, or some of them are at least in a similar like
Yeah.
decision point in their head. And therefore, you should be an individual in this too. Everybody at the end of the day is an individual in this dynamic who can make those decisions for themselves and like can also witness another individual making their decision and being like, okay, that makes sense. Like, I think just reminding yourself that it's not you and then everyone else. It's not like you and then the group. It's a bunch of individuals that make up a group and are equally faced with their own life choices and their own circumstances at this company, and any of that can change at any time, including yourself.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, separating yourself from like the mob mentality a little bit and like the family feeling. It's not a family. You can love them, not only like them, you can love some of them. You can have really great personal relationships with some of them, or
Mm-hmm.
really feel like that was somebody who was so instrumental in your career, and that is awesome. And I'll tell you from personal experience that a lot of, that doesn't have to go away. You can stay friends. It can be somebody that you work with again in the future who helps you get a different job in the future. Like, you don't have to say goodbye to these individuals, but the company is not your family. And
Yeah.
they don't see you that way, even if they've been
I
good to you.
promise. I promise they don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if they, they really do know that it's a business. If they really reveal themselves to not be understanding of that, then it's like more of a reason for you to leave. 4 years is a long time. You've paid your dues. I do think what you mentioned with mob mentality. My prediction, what usually happens in these situations is that people, all employees, they like take a lot of shit. They take a lot of shit. Nobody wants to make a change. They don't want to make a move. Like, there are good things here. And then eventually one or two people start leaving, and then the floodgates open, and then it
Yeah.
happens in a wave, and then
Yeah.
everyone leaves. That could very well happen here. It sounds like, we don't know, but an exercise to do. Sometimes I want to picture, like, imagine you already know for sure that happens in a few months. All, like, a huge chunk of this core group of people you're attached to have all left because they've decided it's not a good work environment. Then at that moment, are you going to be like, God damn it, why did I stay here?
Yeah.
Or if it's like a really great situation for you, you could be at a job that's a really great situation in every other way. And if 10 people left, you would still be like, well, I don't know. This is still great. Sucks that they left, but like, this is great for me in a bunch of ways. Or are the people the only reason you're staying? I'm not saying it's a small thing to be able to connect with the people. It's actually a big thing, but it is certainly not the only thing.
Yeah,
I do.
I've been in
Yeah.
both of those situations. I've been the one to stick it out when there was a wave of people who I really liked leaving. And I've been the one to leave early on in the wave at two different
Yeah.
companies. I've done both. And both worked out for me at the time because I got clear on like what made sense for me personally. And if it made sense to stay and stick it out because I felt like the changes that were happening would be a really good growth opportunity for me. And if I stuck it out, I could probably be rewarded for that. And at that time in my career, I was willing to like work really hard and, ride through the wave. Like, great, then that can work. But if you're feeling like the benefit isn't there for you anymore, then it can equally work for you to cut your losses and leave when it makes sense for you. And yeah, I really like what you said about like envision that happens. Will you regret not making a move when you wanted to, or will you think, this is an opportunity for me to stick it out and stay and grow? It sounds like you've already figured that out.
Yeah, because I don't want to undermine how fulfilling it can be to have a fulfilling human connection in your work or in your day to day. Not having that can also drive a lot of people crazy, obviously. Um, but it does sound like, just the way she phrased it, it sounds like the rest has kind of outweighed it so immensely that the
Yeah.
human connection is the only thing left. And like, I guess it's not just thinking about, most of us need some kind of human connection and fulfillment to get through the workday as well. But it's like an overall fulfillment. And the fulfillment also comes from like, how much is it deteriorating you? Are you taking this home at the end of the day? Can you not shake it off in the evening? Can you not shake it off in the weekends? Is it keeping you from having the energy to do the other things that light up your life, from showing up in your relationships, from showing up for yourself? Like, is the work fulfilling? In addition to, are the relationships fulfilling? That's like one aspect of connection and fulfillment. And I do think, I was trying to think about like times I quit a job. I think times that I always felt guilty quitting. But I think the worst ones were the times when when I think I hadn't communicated what had been upsetting me for so long.
Yeah.
And then you have the hardest time leaving because people are blindsided and they're like, wait, but we could have done this, but you didn't talk to me about that, blah, blah, blah. You can do that. But I do think the best way to counter that guilt you may feel is to make sure you are letting them know what is really not working for you and that you are open to options. And maybe you actually get to find out, if you're willing to walk away and willing to honestly say what's not working for you, you might actually get a new offer at that company that works for you. Or worst case scenario, you have really set the foundation for
Mhm.
leaving. They know why. You have told them what you need.
Yeah, that's spot on. And I think I think when that's the case, it's the same thing in a relationship. It's like if you've been brewing on it for a long time but never communicated any of the problems, you'll blindside the person. But
And they're like,
if it's
what?
something you've talked about and tried to find
Yeah.
a solution to and you just can't, and there might be good reasons that you can't, but you still can't, like it doesn't make sense for you to stay. And they've been brought along in the thought process there a little bit more, and it doesn't
Yeah.
feel like you're burning a bridge. I mean, I've been lucky to leave a few jobs and never feel like I was burning a bridge. And
Oh,
that is
yeah.
exactly the reason why, because the
Mm-hmm.
case was made. Like I had been communicating my frustrations and the things that I was looking for next. And if they weren't able to give it to me, then they expected that I was probably going to leave at some point. Like they know how it works. They know that you're ultimately in it for your own career and yourself. You should be. Um, so yeah, I'm with you. I think that's like the number one thing to make sure you do. But then beyond that, if they're good people who care about your
Yeah.
personal and professional growth, then they'll get it.
I think it feels a lot harder. I really have a hard time ending things, even at a job I hated. It felt so hard for me to imagine that breakup, even with a job I hated, even in a place where I wasn't connected to the people. It felt
Mm,
so difficult. And I think it kind of comes down to, it's just like really hard to imagine the day to day like filler of your norm completely disappearing and changing. But doing it is actually easier than imagining what it's going to feel like.
yeah, that's
Like
so true.
actually doing it is a lot less painful and a lot less impossible than the time before, where you're dwelling on it and thinking about it. It just
Totally.
changes. It's
You
fine.
don't need to know what it's going to look like. And actually, something that you should also maybe be prepared for is leaving and feeling some regret for a short time period. Like I have left jobs and been confident about my decision to leave and then started a new job. And the first week of the new job, I'm like, what did I do? This is all
Yeah.
different. This is all new to me. I don't know if I like
Yeah.
these people. Like, this was a mistake. And that feeling fades away over weeks and months and whatever. But I have totally felt that sense of regret, even though I was like confident in the decision to leave.
Yeah.
You know, it hits you when you start the new thing and your life looks different and the people are different and you don't
That
have the
kind of,
established trust and
yeah,
relationship and whatever knowledge of the content area, like whatever it is. And I don't know, then you just keep going and then it becomes your norm again. Like I always remind myself, you know, this is this is what I wanted. There were reasons that I chose this. I can always
yeah,
make another change. If you're not burning a bridge, you can even tell yourself you can always go back. Like if it's people you have a relationship with, you probably can go back if you really wanted to. So just like knowing that there's going to be discomfort, but
totally. Yeah. It
reminding yourself
actually,
why you chose it.
I think the breakup metaphor, even though I think the way you treat work relationships and non-work relationships are very different and should be very different. I think the breakup metaphor works really well there. It's like, oh, I don't want to be with you anymore because of XYZ. And then like maybe you hit a lonely night, or maybe you go on a really bad date afterwards and you're like, wait, but you remember the curves of my body. La 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 la. Yeah, they're gonna forget the curves of your body. It's gonna be fine.
Oh, they'll forget. Oh,
Oh,
baby
they'll
girl.
forget. Okay, what are we gonna do? Do we want to do one more, or what's happening?
Sure. Let's see.
Little kisses.
um,
I like that you just
hmm,
started doing it back to me.
okay. We got a weird DM today. Do you want
Oh
that
yeah.
to
Oh
close it out?
yeah. Yeah, I do want that.
All right. We got another DM today that what does WYR mean? Oh, would you rather? Okay.
Oh, you got that fast. Okay.
Because I then remembered like the rest of the context of this message and was like, duh, Jessica, you know what this is. Okay. Hot
Okay,
take
okay.
slash would you rather? After death, you can A, be able to lightly haunt and watch over your grandchildren and future generations of loved ones for eternity, but never see anyone else who has passed away.
Okay.
Or B, be able to join your family that has passed away before you for eternity, but never know what became of your living loved ones. And then finally, C, be reincarnated, have no memory of either. If you discuss this on the pod, it will make my entire day and help me pass my bitch of an exam.
B. The answer's B.
Be able to join your family that has passed away before you, but never know what happened of your living loved ones?
Yeah, so people I don't know. Maybe
No,
the
but it
people
could
on
be,
Earth are people I knew.
yeah, like if you passed
I
away
thought
before your sibling or your partner. Yeah.
well, when she said grandkids, I'm like, I don't need to fuck with my
I don't need to know them. I
grandkids.
don't know
Like,
them.
I don't need to know. I don't know them.
Yeah.
Okay, my living people, but I can't actually interact with them. That's what hurts. No. And I
No,
don't want to
what?
watch them masturbate. I always wonder if like my dead relatives are watching me masturbate.
No, but even when they die, you wouldn't get to like be reunited with them.
Yeah, so but she said if you're haunting, if you choose option A and you're haunting your surviving relatives, that you're just haunting them. You're not like really interacting with them, right?
Be able to lightly haunt your grandchildren, but never see it. Oh, yeah. No, it's definitely not A. I guess we can just say that right off the bat. It's not be able to lightly haunt and watch over your grandchildren and future generations, but never see anyone else
The
who has passed
grandchildren I
away.
care about the least. I want to if my siblings
It's not
survive
that.
or my parents survive, I want to see them, but I think it'd be hard to see them every day and not I don't give a fuck about the grandkids. They don't care.
Yeah. So it's either you see no one and you're reincarnated into the world and you have no memory of either, or you join your family that's passed away before you, but you don't see people you've left behind ever again.
Well, I'll wait for I'm going to heaven, obviously. Wait, that's not what I meant to say. I'm going to the afterlife, obviously. I don't know which way I'm going, but I'm going to the afterlife if there is one, and I want to see the dead people. And then my surviving relatives will eventually be there. We'll all be in hell together.
Wait.
Being reincarnated is a lot like forgetting all of your people. Why do I need more life? I had enough life. That sounds greedy.
Yeah, you just hacked it because
Yeah,
okay,
I'm just gonna
let's
wait. I'm
use a
just gonna wait at
scenario.
the after party.
Yeah, if you die before me, You'll be able to meet up with your family who's passed away before you.
Yes,
You won't
dope.
know what's going on with me on Earth. But then when I die, if I
You'll tell
choose
me.
this same option, I'll
We'll start a
see you.
podcast. We'll start a
Then you'll
podcast and
see
you'll
me.
tell me. We'll have the leading
And I'll
podcast
tell
in
you everything.
hell.
Okay.
Best podcast in hell. That's what I said. I said in the beginning,
Yes.
the answer is B. There's no other answer. The answer
Okay,
is B.
yes. Is that the
answer is
trick of
B.
your exam, girl? I hope she thought of this before she took the test. This is easy. Who's choosing to have no memory of anyone they ever loved? What?
That's what I'm like. The idea of wanting to live forever, I'm like, what the fuck? No.
Please
I don't
give me
need
rest.
I don't need so much. Give me rest. I don't need so much more life, especially not one where I just forget. The thing that's good about this life are the people, right? And then I just have to forget them, and then I never see
pretty
them.
sure.
You think it's good? Wait, but also, but what sucks is the people. You just named every celebrity, and I hated all of them.
But the people that we choose are mostly the thing that's good.
Yeah.
I really like trees, so I think also like that's
Okay.
another good thing that's about life.
Wait. Are you saying that's going to be there? There's probably not any trees in hell, though.
No, I think that there would be trees in the afterlife that I go to.
Well, are you saying we're not going to the same one?
No, I'm saying it could be one of those things like in The Good Place where everybody has their own like neighborhood or house or something. Okay. So we can still see each other, but like where I am, there might be trees, and where you are, there might be like a pond.
So you want to go to you want to go to just like another like suburban subdivision for heaven?
No, I don't want to be in
the only
I don't want to be in the suburbs in life.
Just dreaming of the suburbs. The only heaven I want to go to is one where we are literally jumping on clouds.
On clouds, yeah.
I just want to jump on clouds, which I know is the most juvenile version of heaven. And that is the only one I want. If it's another fucking subdivision in Bethesda, Maryland, I am committing a heaven murder, and so you can put me in hell.
No, it can't be. I mean, that's the whole thing of The Good Place, that it's actually hell. So
right.
Yeah, don't worry. It's just that I want the clouds too. If I had my first choice, it would be clouds.
Dog, anything's possible? Anything's possible, and you put me in Bethesda, Maryland? No, put me on a cloud.
But if it's based on, we don't know what it is. If it's based on like your earthly pleasures, we'll be in a brothel.
That's your only idea of heaven?
We'll be in a podcast studio. We'll only see each other.
Funny how that sounds a lot like hell too. It's just us podcasting forever. This is what happens in heaven.
Our loved ones will be a captive audience for our podcast.
Yeah, I was gonna say we are in heaven. You earned your way there, but I marry you, and so I get like a green card. Like I marry my way into heaven, and then we host the top podcast in heaven, which is played only in hell, and everyone in hell has to listen to it all the time. That's
what it is.
And you can never change the channel, and then nobody adjusts the volume on my mic.
Oh, please. The volume is the worst it's ever been, and y'all will have to deal. Only if you're in hell, though. If you're in heaven, you still have to watch.
Oh,
but you come to the live show, and you can leave. Like, you can come in and out of the live show. Yeah.
I don't know about that. I don't know if I like that.
It's going to be the heaven ones.
It's going to be like the Matrix, where all of a sudden the windows are bricks, and you can't leave the building.
Tell us you love us. Okay, speaking of.
Okay.
We got a couple new reviews on Apple Pods.
We have to read.
There was this real sweet one. Yeah.
Read a sweet one. Read a sweet review on Apple Podcasts review of us now.
Me read?
Yeah. I haven't slept a lot. Baby read. Baby read. Baby read.
I read. Okay. This really touched us. I just got to tell you, Murdenil people's Apple like usernames are really weird. It looks almost like murder, but it's Murden LC. Okay. Not for reviewing usually. Like leaving this review, this podcast has pushed me in a lot of other uncomfortable directions that I wouldn't normally wander. The hosts are honest to a fault, but I'm not blaming anything but the status quo for that. I'm not for people pleasing, forcing friendships, or comparing myself to anyone else thanks to these gorgeous goons. I highly recommend this podcast instead of dwelling, longing, or overthinking.
Oh, wow.
I mean, no notes. First of all, complimented our looks, said we were gorgeous. Check.
She knows what to do. Also,
written very eloquently.
Very
Like
touched.
really well written. The biggest compliment ever.
Oh,
Yeah,
stretching to do uncomfortable things. That's what we're all trying to do here.
that's what we're doing. We
Do
do
the
it so
scary
that you
thing.
can maybe do some of it, less of it. I recommend doing less of it than what we do, but do some of it.
Yeah, that just sent me that review the other day when I was having a tough week, and it really did change my entire day. It was really nice.
And we love to hear it. Keep leaving us reviews. It makes our day. Keep telling your friends about the pod. Follow us on Instagram at not the number four everyone pod. I'm Jay-Z DeBakey on Instagram. Caroline is on YouTube at Caroline Winkler. And you can also watch the podcast on YouTube. It's a fun time. You can see my avocado stuffed animal that sits behind me. What else, dog?
I don't know. I think that's it.
All right.
We love you. Number one podcast in hell.
Be babies. Just babies in hell.
Babies in hell. Bye.